This is an example of a good purchase. I got these from Goodwill. I needed pots. I had 0 pots when I moved, only pans. And then I also needed these smaller dishes just for smaller dishes instead of having to use a big bowl and plate. So this is exactly what I needed, and it was fully covered by the store credit that I had from the last time that I was here. And I will say that I can impulse buy sometimes, but I keep the receipt, and once I have something in my possession for a while, I can start to think a little more rationally about whether or not I need it, and then I have time to return it, and then it's all good. So I don't get stuck with things that I shouldn't have bought.
Okay, I haven't done a Finance Friday in a while, so it's a long time coming. I'm not going to go over everything, but I've been in my new place for 2 months, so now I have an average idea of my monthly expenses. So based on my income, all my monthly expenses are covered to the dollar. So that's not a great place to be in. However, that's my base pay. That's my base pay if I don't pick up any shifts. So of course I will always pick up shifts every month to bring in a few $100 extra, so that, you know, I can be putting money away or buying things that we want, because you don't want to live your life without getting to do some fun stuff. And I do need to tell on myself, because I did use credit cards when I moved out. Initially I had everything covered, but then some things popped up. And I thought, okay, well, I need to get these things now, because I don't like this idea of being half moved in or not having all of the things that I need, even if they weren't totally necessary. And so I shouldn't have done that. But I do want to say that I actually was owed some money, and this was just a complete mistake, mix up. Why I didn't end up having that money in my possession when I was supposed to. So I had budgeted that, already having that, and it wasn't in my possession, which I probably just shouldn't do. Like, even if I know money's coming in, just kind of remember that it's like a ballpark and not to overspend until I have it. But I did also have to rent a car because I did have a couple car issues. I didn't end up needing to get a repair, but the car it's weeks away from just being bye-bye. And I'm also weeks away from getting my refund. So it's kind of like we're going to see what happens first. If it's the car, I'm going to have some coworkers help me out, getting me to work for a couple weeks until I get that refund and I can purchase a vehicle. $25 in the savings account right now. The credit cards are paid off, so I'm back to 0 balance. But yeah, by next week I will have some money in savings. That is not a great place to be, especially like just getting back out on my own again. But I am comfortable, you know, I have a job, everything's good. The budgets, you know, I just can't have any emergencies, and everybody knows my 90% of my emergencies is this vehicle. So I can tell you right now, if I have an emergency with this vehicle, I'm not paying for a repair. So it's just going to get picked up and hauled off, and that'll be the end of it. I may need to get a rental car. And the thing is, when you don't have savings, you end up putting it on the credit card. So I don't want to be in that position. So let's hope I have enough left over to cover something like that if it happens in the next couple of weeks. But everything else is going smooth. We actually qualified for a scholarship at the Y, which was great because it takes 60% off our monthly cost. So that makes that infinitely more affordable for us. And that's great because, you know, I have multiple kids who are going to be doing multiple activities. And it's something that as a parent, you really don't want to have to cut those things out of your budget. So, you know, I would rather work 2 jobs and be able to provide those things for them if I have to. And luckily I don't. So I am very grateful. And I'm not so poor that I couldn't spend $15 getting my eyebrows waxed today. So I feel like I'm in a good place. And I'm going back to my $65 a week budget. I actually may have to cut that down to $50 a week. And so that's for wants, and then extra things that might pop up, like, I don't know, something breaks, or I run out of laundry detergent. And I'm definitely putting off some things that I do want for the house that are a little higher in price. One thing that I'm coming up against with furniture, and I think we have all been experiencing this, and it's incredibly frustrating, is no matter how much you spend or where you purchase from, it's all garbage. So I want to get a recliner because we have limited seating for us in the living room, and so I'm not ordering off Amazon. I'm not doing that again, especially when you have to assemble things. It's like sometimes the holes don't line up and you have to rig it together or send it back entirely, and then you get a replacement, and then the same thing's wrong with the replacement. And I'm over it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like absolutely done with this Chinese crap. You know, I just had a part replaced on my car twice, and it's broken again. The same exact part. It was covered under warranty. This might also be covered under warranty still, but it's like it's gonna happen again because it's manufactured poorly. So I'm gonna get the same bad part, and so it's like, what's the point? You know, I'm not gonna have this car for much longer, so I'm just leaving that as it is. But I am gonna go into a furniture store. I'm gonna get good quality furniture, you know, that will last. And I think one of the keys to having that last is also the fabric, the material, because you want something that you can wash, because a lot of times we throw stuff out because it gets stained, because getting it reupholstered is too expensive. And I mean, for more complicated things like a recliner, I can't upholster that myself. So leather is a great option because that's gonna withstand the test of time. Things that cats don't like to scratch. In particular, it's kind of popular, that new fabric that's like ribbed. That's like all the rage now. And so our pop-up sofa that we bought was made like that. And it just, for some reason, isn't satisfying, and the cats don't want to scratch it. So I'm really excited about that I actually bought something like a couch that didn't get destroyed within a month. So I might consider that, but I know we're all kind of like, we want to save money, so then we buy the cheaper thing, but then it immediately breaks, or it just becomes a huge headache because it doesn't work properly. And so I think we're now back in that place where spending more money on something that's good quality is going to end up saving us money in the long run. And is a recliner a need right now? No, we'd like to have one more place to sit in the living room, but it's a want. So it's going to wait until I can get it, you know. And then there's a couple other decorative things I would like to add, and some organizational things that would make life a little easier. But those are wants. And even though they're good things to get that will improve the quality of our life, they are wants, and they're going to have to wait their turn. And that is just the life that I'm living, because I refuse to go back to how I lived in my mid-20s, where I was just burning through the credit cards and then paying them off and then having to use them again every month. I'm not going to live that life anymore, and I need to do better for my kids. So I'm optimistic about the future, but I've got to still make enough money to treat myself to some lattes and get the eyebrows done every couple of months. And, you know, if I can get my nails done 3 times a year, I'm living in luxury, in my opinion. So anyway, thanks for listening to all my nonsense. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. I hope everybody gets a nice big tax return. I hope you don't owe anything. And if you do, I hope you figure it out. Thanks for keeping me accountable and watching the channel. I will catch you guys in the next video.
Hey, I never asked you.
Yeah.
Do you like guacamole? Ah!